I'm here, and we're ready to get the party started. So, you, been listening to y'all week as usual, Paris, and we I have some of those thoughts in mind from shows I've listened to. Very entertaining, I will say.
Mhm.
Very, very entertaining. But I wanna bring the diversity of thought to the floor this morning. So welcome. And today I would like to proclaim um, Friends and Family Day. Is that okay with you, Paris?
Oh, anything you do, I'm rolling with you. I'm rolling.
It's
I
Friends and
listen. I'm
Family Day.
rolling to you till the wheels fall off, and then we'll drag it the rest
Okay.
of the way. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. Mr. Hall of Famer, and
Oh, there you go. There
truly,
you
truly, thank you. That's a Hall of Famer right there, y'all. That's how they conduct themselves. They got you back. Friends and Family Day today. A space where we bring in a lot of us are familiar with that as it relates to the church. But
mm-hmm.
here is a space where we're bringing our listeners, our supporters, and the people who pour into this show together. Um, Diversity of thought has always been about community conversation and creating room for voices that deserve to be heard. Today is about celebrating that circle, the friends who stand with us, the family who keeps us grounded, and the community that inspires every segment I produce here. We produce. And if you're new to the show, welcome in. We're glad you're here. I also want to give a special shout out to the women this week on the prayer call I joined on Wednesday. The word and the prayer came from First Peter chapters 5 through 7, and that is cast all your cares on Him because He cares for us. That reminder of care, community, and spiritual grounding is exactly the spirit we're carrying into today. And just a reminder, coming up next week
My brother, what's going on?
on August the 28th, we'll be speaking with State Representative Vicki Goodwin, Texas State Representative Vicki Goodwin, the
How are you,
Democrat
man? What's
running
going
for
on with
Texas
you? How you
Lieutenant
doing?
Governor on November the 3rd. So
Man, look, I
we'll
was going to
also
ask you.
hear
I mean,
from
because well, I
Representative
came in
Byrd
last night
of
after I did
Houston
the
area
interview.
Urban
I
League
had
as
the
he
young lady here
recaps
from the Chronicle,
their
and
national
we
conference
we
they had a
talked,
week
and
or
then I
two
went out
ago
there in that
in
heat.
Nashville,
I got
Tennessee.
I got
And
home, and
he'll
then I
walk us
laid
through
down, and when I
this
woke
year's
up, it
State of
was
Black
like
America
10 something,
report,
you know.
or give us
But
a
look, here's
synopsis
the
on that,
deal. Look,
as well as
it
a
was a
few other
good
things.
interview.
So,
And I
Friends
want to
and
know now:
Family
Are
Day is
you
about
tomorrow? Are
connection
you out at
and
that
honoring
office
the people who
location,
lift
or
us up
what's happening with
speak
you
truth,
tomorrow? Are
and
you out,
help
or you
shape
go to Tennessee
conversations
tomorrow?
that matter. So settle in and join the dialogue,
Oh,
Paris.
okay,
So listen to
okay,
Stevens on Wednesday,
okay,
and
good.
last
So,
week I talked about
is it? Will you
the
be at that
primaries
office out there
following.
then?
So this week's primaries showed how geography
Oh, okay,
shapes the Democratic Party,
okay.
and how Florida continues to break the Southern mold. Across
Oh
most
yeah,
of the
yeah.
South, Democratic voters still nominate moderates,
Sure,
but
sure, sure,
Florida
sure,
delivered two major statewide wins for black candidates at
sure,
opposite ends of the
sure. That's
political
fine.
spectrum. Um, Time reports that
Okay,
that
okay.
Republican
Look, I'm
Byron
on with
Donalds,
Lydia you right now,
whose
but
loyalty
I'm
to
also going to
Kansas
call you
is
after I get off
unwavering,
because I'm
won the
going to.
GOP
I want to
primary
come
for
out there
governor
tomorrow. I want to
in
come
a
out there. I get the
landslide.
time, which I
Okay,
want to do a little
and
writing.
Trump is
Okay,
openly
out there.
reciprocating
Okay, and I'll tell you,
that
and
loyalty
I talked with
that
Jaron
he
yesterday
provided he's
about the
provided him with,
Asian wild black thing,
elevating
but not
Donalds as a
only
rising
that,
figure
some
in the
other
MAGA
things, and
movement. So
you
whether
know,
that loyalty is going to pay off
you'll
in the
appreciate
national
them all. I'll
midterms in
fill you in
November,
on it. Okay,
still remains to be
okay,
seen.
okay, buddy. I'm
On
excited
the
too. All right.
Democratic side, we have Angie Nixon, a black woman from Jacksonville, won the U.S. Senate primary. So on the Democratic side. And so seen her on TV quite a bit, and she's interesting. She's interesting. Look like she's not. I don't think she's a part of the DSA, but I think she is a progressive. And a lot of these people, as I see them in the primaries, they're trying to shake these labels off and just saying that they want to correct a lot of the ills that we see with affordability and all of the other things that are going on right now, insofar as the economy is concerned and the wars and everything that's happening and not being addressed. So up north in Wisconsin, they added a third statewide. They added a third statewide win for Black candidate David Crowley. Shout out to you there, X. I know you brought him up. Won the Democratic primary for governor after a razor-thin race against Democratic Socialist Francesca Hung. Meanwhile, progressive scored wins in Minnesota and Connecticut, while moderates held ground in Vermont. And then taken together, these primaries show a clear pattern, and I mentioned this last week. DSA-aligned candidates thrive in college-heavy districts. Progressives dominate the Midwest and the Northeast. Moderates rule the South. And Florida stands alone in this instance, producing 2 Black statewide nominees and a Republican frontrunner whose loyalty to Trump is being tested on the biggest stage. So, question for you. With Florida breaking the Southern pattern this week and Byron Donalds' loyalty to Donald Trump appears as being openly rewarded, but do you think that loyalty will translate into an actual win for him in November? Or does Florida's political volatility make that an open question? And I want to throw that out there to the audience. And Paris,
yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you first. What's your thought about that?
I think that Florida is going to remain. It's going to be a tough fought race. I think they may eke out a win in Florida. However, and this is the big one though. I think it's going to be a squeaker because of the amount of money that's going in. Let me start from that premise and tell you how that influences my thinking in every race that you're going to bring up, with few exceptions. The amount of money that's going, the hundreds of millions of dollars that are going to be pumped into Texas and to a lesser extent in Florida and the places that they absolutely must have, are going to be phenomenal. And money changes people's behavior. Money does have an effect, and it just creates an outsized effect. I think we're going to see in Florida, I think David Jolly stands a good chance of becoming the governor, because he's known in Florida. He's a former Republican, and he's got good standing. And now there's so many disaffected Republicans. I think that's going to weigh against Byron Donaldson. And quite honestly, I think the younger white voters who are disaffected by Byron Donaldson, I don't think they're going to go to the younger white voters I'm speaking of. I don't think they're going to necessarily go to David Jolly, but they may sit this one out to register their disappointment. But it's a sizable number from what we can see of younger, and by younger I mean 20 to 30, maybe even 30 to 35 years old, who are disaffected by for Byron Donaldson. They have said in their public statements, even though many of them went to listen to him when he was speaking, they just said they didn't think he had what it took. Now, I don't know if that were code. For me, it sounded like it. Because he is black, race is going to play a part in there. But there are older white people out there who may offset that in places like the Villages in Florida. However, there is a truth about the pocketbook that is unavoidable. There's a truth that middle class budgets cannot afford to ignore. Gas is a problem. Fuel is a problem, though maybe not as much so in Florida. But however, for the wealthy, those things won't be as big of a problem. But for some who are on Medicare, well, I'm sorry, what is it, Medicaid? Which I forget now. No, Medicare. Yeah, Medicare. Medicare. They will have a problem. But I think David Jolly has a message for them, because he's going to talk about, from what I can hear, the debt that is being created here, and the money that continually gets transferred to the top while the middle class pays more. And therefore, I think if it's a squeaker, I think maybe David Jolly does not get it. It's just the money that throws me off. I really think in those rural areas that David Jolly may wind up doing a lot of good to offset what Byron Donaldson gets from the elite class in the Miami area. So yeah. So that's the way I feel about Florida, and that sort of replicates itself in any place where there is an incumbent Republican. Again, well, not any place. There are a few that are different, but that's the way I see Florida, because that's what you asked about. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple of other thoughts around that. And you
please, I share them. Yeah.
You started off talking about the money.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that a few times. I get that's your take.
Yeah.
The more money that's there. And what I say is that we've seen some races where the money hasn't necessarily translated into a win.
That's right.
And I know in this Senate race in Florida, again, you know, Angie Nixon, the black woman there, she won the race against Alex Vindman. I believe Alex Vindman is the gentleman who testified against Trump.
Right. Yeah, he is. He was a lieutenant colonel.
He is
the
gentleman that testified against Trump. And so, but he raised like $16 million to her $1 million.
Yeah, he certainly did.
And so we are talking about individuals that are going out to vote and showing up for reasons other than, he may have had more ads, and you know, been out there. He obviously raised far more money than she did, he did not win the race.
Yeah.
So not exactly sure if he just ran a horrible race, or if black voters are incentivized and electrified by these women who are running for office now and are getting out the vote.
There are two things there. There are two things there. I'd like to finish your point, and I just wanted to put a pin in that, because I just wanted to tack on to what you were saying about the money and Vindman. Okay, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Yes. No,
Oh,
just to
oh,
say that I think that black women are incentivized um, by by these particular candidates, and I think that they're getting out to make a point
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
regards to this particular Senate race. But then going back to Byron Donaldson, real quick,
yeah.
I believe. Do you think that African Americans, black voters in Florida will somehow or another turn out for not Donaldson, Byron
Byron
Donaldson,
Donald's okay.
um, because they want to see a black man as a governor. And I know now in the United States, I think that there's a potential for there to be four or more. I mean, the most that there's ever been in the country. But do you think a lot of black people will vote for him um, just because he's a black man, and versus for their interest, which would be with David Jolly as a Democrat, a moderate Democrat, by the way, so
Mm-hmm.
not a quote unquote DSA aligned candidate. I'm just wondering if that will make any difference there. Especially, I would be curious to see what the turnout is for black men in regards to that particular race.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Let me back up to uh, Vinman and
And Angie
and
Nixon.
Angie
Mm-hmm.
Nixon. Vinman had only recently moved to
Mm-hmm.
Florida. He had only been there for 3 months,
Yeah.
and the money was
Yeah.
staggering. Well, here's the mistake that Vinman made. He looked past his campaign, looked past Angie Nixon. They were not looking for her to come up as she did, but she had two things. She had name recognition and a ground game. And it caught a lot of the Democrats and some of the Republicans by surprise. These people are well organized, and she's not a democratic socialist. She said there's certain things in the
Yeah.
in the campaign platform that she didn't agree with. So she knows how to run a smart campaign. I, in the general election, she did well around the Tampa area and certain other black areas. She outperformed what was happening, and she certainly outperformed the expectations in some of the um,
Mm-hmm.
rural areas. But it was a Democratic primary in a general election. As you know, I'm not explaining anything to you. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
laying the background out. As you know, voter registration in Florida, Republicans outregister Democrats. And I think those factors are going to be a consideration in this election. I think and I think those factors will apply in the general election as well. Now in the district she's running in, I don't know what those districts are. They obviously favor her with those who are Democrats. I don't know how many Republicans in that district. I don't know whether that was one of the ones that were gerrymandered or not. So, that remains to be seen. But whenever I speak on money, this is what do you call it? It's almost like a genetic thing with me. I'm going to use that congenital with me, because listen, and I've been trying to think over a year or more how to say this so that I don't
Mm-hmm.
malign an entire industry. There's already enough said about the music industry, so I just like to expand it. Look, I've done enough
Yeah.
corporate business, and I suspect some part of what I say is going to resonate with you as well. I know what happens when Pepsi and Coca-Cola fight over store space. I'll put it that way, right? I know I've seen the behavior of
Right.
grocers, right? those items that you see at the what do they call it? The checkout stand or whatever it used to be, right? What it's called now. They didn't get placed there by accident because they had a better product necessarily. They get placed there because grocers like incentives, and you give them incentives on your product. You go to, not every record that we ran up the charts as number one was really the number one. It had to be number one. They had three criteria: sales, requests, and something else. I can't think, but right now, let's say sales, requests, and listener requests. Right, every chart has that. Money influences people's behavior, and then you convince the public to go along. You see enough commercials all along, and if you've got a campaign that's putting you in public places that's echoing that commercial, and then that commercial, they are soaked with that commercial. After you're gone, then people will keep that in mind. So I always make room. It doesn't mean they always win. We saw that in Wisconsin because Elon Musk soaked all of that money. Was it in Iowa? It was in Iowa, wasn't it? Or Wisconsin? And still lost.
It was Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been Iowa. But I mentioned that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did. I mean, he dumped $1 million there.
The money didn't go there.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned the experience, our experiences.
Yeah. Sway behavior.
Override, our conversations sometimes, or our thinking about things.
Yeah.
And what I have seen, and even in your analogy about space on the grocery shelf, if the consumers don't buy it,
right, it's true.
You can have, if the consumers don't like it, if it's not something that's appealing to them, then they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that somewhere else may be to another item that just has more play out there. In society, people are talking about it. It's on trend, and people know about it. They're gonna look for that.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a lot of money, a lot of times those particular products or people that make them or don't have the money, that's what's appealing to the public sometimes. The little guy. And then the consumers, the people, share in those victories. You being successful. You have that because they remembered that they picked you up when you weren't on every on
sure, right. That's right.
The market. So
absolutely. Tallarico is a case in point with that. See, I think, but although I must say Tallarico has outraised Ken Paxton, and I think his is a case where I see just the opposite, where it'll stick because people like what he's been doing, and he's been attracting money. So he's not in the same place where, say, Miss Nixon is. And I like Miss Nixon a lot, just learning of her, and learning of what she does. She's a known in certain places. And I think that has already proven a benefit for her. That's how she got this. And it was, as you said, surprising to some people. I'm hoping it holds, right? But I won't be surprised if in certain places, when the money starts pouring in, she's going to be at a handicap in a sense. And I hope I'm wrong about this, but I don't think the DNC is prepared to put their money in Florida, and I hope I'm wrong about that. They're going to spend a lot of money here in Texas, and perhaps in Pennsylvania, some other places that they feel a must win. Michigan, they're going to feel like they have to defend that. I think they're willing to concede Florida monetarily. the difference might be David Jolly is at the top as a governor, and he has stroke with Republicans there in Florida, and there is a level of anti-Trump sentiment there that doesn't bode well. So I mean I'm hopeful. Two different races. But see if he can bring people out. But the thing is, if he can bring people out, maybe she can draw some interest, because Jolly can bring out whites who wouldn't. No, but I mean from whites. She's drawing interest now, and with Jolly at the top of the ticket, he may bring out some more who would be reluctant to come out.
At the top of the ticket. There's the Senate race and then the governor's race. But I take your point about Anglos, and that's been my challenge with the Democratic leadership. Since before these primaries started, is that in Georgia is a prime example of that, where they did not have a lot of they didn't believe that they could win. They were red state.
Yes.
They weren't getting money from the DNC.
Right.
And Stacey Abrams, those folks there, they got the voters out, which is what's happening with Angie Nixon, and hopefully it will translate to Jolly. I think that motivation to get her in, I think she's actually carrying a lot of the voter turnout that will hopefully translate over to him.
Right.
On the Democratic ticket. So it's not him. Again, I go back to that, not necessarily believing that money. I think that his exposure helps him a lot. The name recognition, the fact that he's been on the CNNs, the MSNBCs, or MS Now, whatever they're called, actually helps him a lot. But I think the whole trend with what's going on with voters now, the economy, the DSA, and not that either of them are, but the whole movement behind everything, actually, she helps
the source.
The voters,
hold on. It might be. Hold on.
I think, and so and during midterm, black voters usually will get out there, and with everything that's happening now, so I just want both of them to get across the finish line. Help break the patterns that Florida has. But
I'm all about Angie Nixon though. I gotta say that.
But I think our viewpoint, and a lot of people say that we agree on everything, but the money part of this, I agree to a certain extent. Not all the way.
Right.
That the folks that they may have different reasons, like we just discussed, for getting out there to vote. So
some of that is the skepticism and cynicism in me. Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I got you. I am going to talk about a public service thing here while you're gone, and then play a couple of spots. How about that? I'm going to talk about that. So you just go ahead, and then I'll play some spots. And I'll get right back to you. We are the source, everybody. I am Paris. Thank you so much. I'm here. I am here with Lydia Flanagan on diversity of thought. You can see it's going to be an interesting morning, and we like that. We like that, and we've got callers lining up. We got callers lining up now, and this will be. Just a short break. Think of it as a quick intermission, if you will. And then I'm telling you that signals that I've got to tell you about the meeting tomorrow morning. It is a breakfast meeting Congressman Al Green presents the 5th Annual Slavery Remembrance Legislative Update Breakfast Meeting. It highlights congressional resolutions that are honoring Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, and right here with us, still present, Congressman Craig Anthony Washington. Yep, Craig Washington. You remember the former congressman. He is right here with us. And the theme is Harder Yet May Be the Fight, with special invited guests that will include our public officials and prominent clergy members, and civic organizations will be on hand too. It's 9 a.m. tomorrow, right there at the Wyndham Hotel, 8636 Kirby Drive. You can show up tomorrow once you register. It'll be free to the general public, but please register tomorrow, 2026 Slavery Remembrance Day, here in Houston at eventbrite.com. That's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So make it your business to be there tomorrow morning. And please, please, please be there. Register, go online, register, and take a part in the celebration of the legislative update breakfast meeting. This is the 5th annual legislative breakfast. Be sure you show up.
And now, from the future frequency. Young voters, Gen Z and millennials.
The source, hold on, please.
Make your voice count.
Hello?
Make it happen. First,
okay.
It only takes a few minutes.
The source, hold on, please.
Election office and follow the steps.
Okay, buddy, hold on.
Next, verify your information. Confirm your name, your address, and your polling location so nothing slows you down. And don't wait for election day. Vote early. Pick your day, pick your time, and skip the lines. Make your plan to vote early and vote to be heard. The future is live right now, and you're the frequency. This message is powered by Diversity of Thought and proudly sponsored by 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Hi, I'm JJ Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years that we've been providing quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept. Hold up, that has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive the personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental 713-738-1999.
Everybody's talking about the high price of eggs. Well, I don't know much about eggs, but I tell you this. If you want great chicken
Hey there.
at a great price, how about Chicken Plus? 6,
Hey,
10,
hey there, we ready?
Let's see what
Okay,
Chicken Plus is.
okay.
Michelle writes.
All right,
Chicken
Gucci.
Plus is
Okay,
the
hold
best
on,
fried
hold on.
chicken and best fried okra in the city. We stay about 45 minutes away, but the drive is definitely worth it. E-Max says, the chicken is seasoned so well and every bite has a special crunch. It's my go-to chicken spot when I want homemade fried chicken that's always good. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Great fried chicken, okra, rice and gravy, desserts. You're going to find it all at Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside. You don't have time to make the drive? Hey, no problem, no problem. You can order Chicken Plus on DoorDash and Uber Eats. You better do what you got to do to get your hands on some of that great fried chicken, the best fried chicken in the city. Great chicken at great prices. That's Chicken Plus. See you there.
And now, a message from the future frequency.
Young voters, Gen Z, and millennials. If you're ready to make your voice count, here's how you make it happen. First, register to vote. It only takes a few minutes. Just look up your local election office and follow the steps for your area. Next, verify your information. Confirm your name, your address, and your polling location so nothing slows you down. And don't wait for election day. Vote early. Pick your day, pick your time, and skip the lines. Make your plan to vote early and vote to be heard. The future is live right now, and you're the frequency.
This message is powered by Diversity of Thought and proudly sponsored by 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Lydia,
Are we back?
you are back. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
With
You go.
diversity of thought.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Paris. Thank you, Paris. I had to take a quick break there, but I don't know if we have anybody holding. But
Yeah, you do. You got three. They're lined up for you this morning. They're ready. They want to get it on.
Let's take those three.
Okay.
Let's take
Okay.
those three, and
Okay.
then we'll talk about the U.S. debt and the $40 trillion.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Hello, caller. You're on.
My man.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Miss Lydia.
Yeah.
Another great show.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? What's on your mind?
Well, you always invoke my thoughts, and I feel somewhat the same way as you're looking at the race of Florida. I think Donald, I think they're gonna try to push him in. I don't think we'll have too much resistance on the Democrat side because, we have a lot, especially in Miami, we have a lot of Cubans a lot of people that come from Cuba and different little countries to where, not saying that it was socialism that ruined their country, but they are very strong against anything that's mentioned about socialism. And I think that's where they're going to kind of run on that Florida gig for government. And then you also brought up about him being a black man. I thought about that, and then what I thought about too, Miss Lydia, I'm kind of noticing what Bernie Sanders is doing. And I really don't appreciate them trying to look over Ms. Harris again. They messed her up the first time. She should be our president right now. That's my thought. I'm going to stick with it. But I know things turned out differently because everybody didn't really support her. Not saying us. Our community stood up for her. It's all the others out there. And nobody wants to talk about that. How can you tell me AOC is a better candidate for president than Ms. Harris? I'm not buying it. I'm not voting for it. If that's what they push toward us for running for president on the Democratic ticket, I'm out. Because I see what they're doing. The same thing they did with Ms. Crockett, with this Tellerico or whoever he is. We don't know nothing about this guy, only what they telling us. I know we promoting him and we doing this and we got the in Texas, he's got too many missed speeches that he done said too many different things on. He's this way one day, he's that way another day. It's just too much that's not clicking up the commercial on TV with him and his pet talk or whoever he is. His talk. It just don't line up. And a lot of people feel that way. I'm right here on 259 in between Fulton and Brookshire. We got 4 schools going on at the same time right now, and we're working. And just among the guys that's out here, Democrat is not the way because all they're pushing is socialism. And it's not a bad thing because I know we have it tied up in our system now. A lot of people say Social Security is just a funding scheme and all this kind of stuff. So it's a lot of mixed conversations going because by the time we retire, it probably won't be nothing there at all. So everybody's kind of living for today and saving what they can on their own, And
So,
I just,
okay.
What are your thoughts on that, Miss Lydia?
Yeah, it's very interesting. You got a lot going on. Are you from Florida?
No, I just kind of keep up. I have some relatives down there. on a couple of naval bases. They're stationed down there, and they're dealing with a lot of different things. Some in Orlando,
Okay.
Cape Canaveral. We got quite a few guys. Yes,
I was just curious because I know that there's some people call in that live there and call into the station. Now, you're the gentleman who works in construction and talks about a lot of the hiring that's going on, right?
Yes, ma'am. We're still at LBJ right now.
Okay.
We're predicted to be there until 29, thanks to Harris County and the mismanagement of the budget. We loving it.
Well, no, I know you are out. You are out in this area because I'm out here where you're working, and I mean, obviously, if anybody keeps up with anything going on in the Greater Houston area, they know that this is one of the fastest growing areas in the country, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a lot of work going on out here. But
Hello, caller. Hold on, please.
Insofar as Talarico is concerned, and I know you listen, I have been, I have been not critical. I don't know if critical is the word, but it could be, of the Democratic leadership and how all of this happened. But we are here now with Kim Paxton and Talarico. And he's been on the show a couple of times, and he has spoken to, I love it. I hear the noise, the beeping in the background. You work and do your thing, brother. But I do believe that you need to take another look at what is going on, because some of the things that you may be hearing and seeing, you know, you need to look at more than one source or resource. He's saying he's going to commit $25 million to voter turnout, black voter turnout, which means that black media is going to should get some of that money. And I haven't heard any contradiction with what he's saying, and I do follow things pretty closely. And maybe we can talk about one or two specific things when you call back in to kind of compare notes. I will say that with this Florida deal, or when you're talking about, I'm sorry, not Florida, but AOC and Kamala Harris, and it is the same thing, very perceptive. It is the same type of scenario again with Democratic leadership, and where they feel like they see a trend going, they'll latch on, I think, instead of being strategic in their thinking about about how they should move and what they should do. So we will see, but I appreciate you saying that, because obviously Kamala Harris is more experienced than AOC. Aspen Crockett had more experience than Talarico, but that election's over, and here we are. We're talking about what's going to happen in the future. So I'm with you, and we will keep our eyes open on those things. But yeah, call back in, and if you can pick out one, like I said, one or two things specifically about Talarico and something that you've heard where you feel like it's double talk, let's call back in and let's talk about that. Okay?
Will do, Miss Lillian. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, Terry. Next caller.
Well, look who's here, the arch-feminist, arch-liberal, and arch-baddie, otherwise known as Lydia Bland. This is Barry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
The question was, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and let's get on with the lip wrestling that we're getting ready to do. Go ahead. You calling in to talk about that $40 trillion, huh?
Way to go, Byron Donald said that we Florida is a special.
Okay.
Florida special. We're gonna make Florida great again. So you're doing a good job there. I think Ms. Nixon's campaign is doomed, and it's doomed part of her own making. Well, she's in a deeply red state, first of all, but she deliberately went and joined the DSA, and she didn't have to do that. And when asked about these
she's not a part of the DSA, Barry.
No,
she
yes,
said
she is too.
She's
I'm
not a part of the DSA.
I'm looking at the video right now.
No, she is
on
not.
Google.
No, she is
I'm
not.
not arguing with
No,
you.
she
But
is
these
not.
six policies.
No, well, I'm not, and I'm not going to argue with you. That's fake news. No, she's not. But go ahead.
He sick part of his abolish ICE, abolish the jails and prisons, no borders,
Okay.
no
No,
deportation
that's
of
not
illegal aliens.
Angie Nixon, and she did not say any of those things.
All right.
But go ahead.
She is a loud, ratchet black woman like
No,
Jasmine
she
Crockett
is
was.
not.
I think that's
No,
not. You should
she
have saw
is
her.
not.
She had
No,
a
she
bull
is not.
horn.
And if
She
you
had a
just
bull
called
horn.
me
She had a
here
bull horn.
this
Listen,
morning, because I got a lot
Yeah.
of ladies from the prayer group listening this
She had a
morning.
bull horn
Jasmine
in
Crockett
the
is not
legislature.
ratchet, and neither is Angie Nixon.
She
So
had a
I don't know.
bullhorn in-
I got a
Listen.
segment. I got a segment on Stephen A. Smith and all of this negativity
no.
about black women. So we aren't going to
Okay.
do that this morning on diversity of thought. So
Okay,
Perry,
can I get a word in,
Perry,
please?
if you, if you're not going to make negative comments about black women, you can. But if you are, then we can't talk right now. Okay, so I guess you don't have anything positive to say about black women. And diversity of thought is for everyone. But as a black woman, I have to stand up and speak up when a lot of the negative perceptions about black women and the roles they play, these very accomplished black women, I should say, that are working in the communities and giving to our communities, we want to uplift them. And when we do see something wrong happening, we will speak up as well. But we're not gonna go there on this. And so the proof will be in the pudding. They came out. She had 1 million versus 16 million, her opponent, and she pulled that out. So Jacksonville, Florida, state of Florida, let's see what happens on November the 3rd. All right, Paris, next caller.
Good morning, everyone, including Paris.
Good morning, Texas Mike. How are you? Welcome to Diversity of Thought.
Thank you for asking me. And diversity of thought, I mean, there could be it's up to the individual defining diversity, but I'll let that go. Look, in terms of elections, it's amazing to me, maybe not to others, how during every election, the number of political experts come around, not just in radio, anywhere, the water cooler, the job, wherever you are, everyone knows everything. But look, and as far as, before I get to what I call real quick, the U.S. debt, U.S. debt clock, it not only has the $40 trillion number, has lots of good numbers that people that are into numbers can analyze. I know you guys have probably seen it. It's like a slot machine, ladies and gentlemen. And in a couple of years before 2028, I'll say it, it'll probably be close to $50 million. And it'll keep going up no matter if it's a Democrat or Republican, even if Democrats control everything, the triple, the trifecta, House, Senate, and President. It's not going down, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? Look, in terms of what I call it, I'd like to give Lady Flanagan my Texas Mike Award for the best personality, the best talk show host at this station. It goes to Lydia Flanagan for a few of the following reasons, okay? She's a great communicator, okay? She doesn't interrupt people and listens intensely with purpose and mirrors back to make sure she understands what they're saying. She's open-minded. She's not closed-minded. She'll have you, even if she disagrees, she'll listen to you and consider what you have to say. She's not patronizing to the audience. She knows that the audience can get information, research it, verify with 2 different sources, obtain and analyze any information as to what's important, as well as her, okay? So she doesn't patronize anybody. And she knows, and she's not just pro-black women. She's for all women and all races, all people, based on her love of Jesus Christ, her Christianity. And she knows when to ask open-ended questions as opposed to ended, closing the question. Her timing is beautiful, and she does it even though she can't. She knows how to communicate, not just using three-syllable words, and those are fancy words. She communicates at the person's level. So for that, let's hear it. Everybody stand up and cheer. Lady Flanagan, you come on, Paris. Give it up, man. Have a good day. Take care.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Amen to everything you said. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you know what? I don't. It's interesting that you really do have to listen closely. And if you all were listening closely to that, I don't know. Thank you, Texas Mike. I know you call in sometimes and you have backhanded compliments sometimes. And I'm hoping that was genuine. I'm by far not the best talk show host there. The best talk show, well, let me stop. All of them are the best. They're Hall of Famers. All four of them, and I know Paris refers also references others that aren't on the station or actively on the station at this particular time. But yeah, so thanks for your opinion. Thanks for your feedback as always. And so we'll move on because $40 trillion debt, U.S. debt. The U.S. has crossed the historic and unsettling threshold, the $40 trillion in national debt, according to new Treasury data reported by New York Times is my reference in this. The milestone came faster than expected, just 5 months after hitting $39 trillion. And economists say the real alarm is the pace. Interest payments are exploding, now consuming more than half of all federal debt costs and squeezing out money for infrastructure, education, and innovation. So I don't know where these good numbers are that the last caller was just referencing, but there aren't any good numbers. Just a lot of double talk. The Times reports that the government is on track to borrow more than $2 trillion this year, driven by war spending, tax cuts, and rising costs for Social Security and Medicare. Budget analysts warn this trajectory is plainly unsustainable, with the debt to GDP ratio projected to hit 120% within a decade. And here's the part that matters for the next 2 years. Based on the Congressional Budget Office projections of CBO, the U.S. is expected to add about $2 trillion in debt per year under current law. That means that if the debt is $40 trillion today, it will be roughly $44 trillion by the time President Trump leaves office in 2028. So a little lower than what Texas Mike thought. If you're wondering who the last president was to reduce the national debt, the answer is none in the modern era. The debt has risen every year since 2001 under both parties. So there's no partisanship here. Even during the late Clinton surpluses, the total national debt still increased. National security experts warn this isn't just an economic issue. High and fast-growing debt limits military readiness, as we've seen, reduces crisis flexibility. We're talking about pandemics and other things. Increases reliance on foreign creditors, China, and weakens the economic strength the U.S. power depends on. And here's the bottom line for everyday Americans.
The source, hold on, please.
$40 trillion problem alone.
Hey, the source, hold on, please.
But you can shape the political incentives that created it. That means four things. Stay informed, demand honesty from these politicians, support long-term reform, engage locally, because remember they have budgets too, and I know we're having some issues with, or have been having some issues with our budget here in Houston, and strengthen your own financial resilience. And who ends up paying them for most of it? Working class and middle class Americans. You guys that are out there listening right now, and check this out, especially millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha, okay? They'll live the longest under high interest rates, absorb cuts to public services. They face future tax changes and carry the economic consequences of today's decisions. They'll be dealing with this for the rest of their lives. So when you think about what's going on with this and all of these, the people that may be discussing this now and their opinions, well, the people that are actually going to be here to deal with this are, again, millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha. Okay? As one fiscal expert told the Times, $40 trillion of debt doesn't just sit on a ledger. It finds its way into people's pocketbooks. So remember that. And call to action. So the national debt hitting $40 trillion is more than a headline. It's a warning. And with projections, and we need to be calm when we get warnings about things, right? To make decisions. And with projections showing roughly $44 trillion by the time President Trump leaves office, the question becomes, what do we do now? Nonpartisan analysts say the path forward is real and unavoidable. Raise more revenue by closing loopholes and enforcing tax laws. Slow the growth of Social Security and Medicare. I know we don't want to hear that, but that's one of the major areas. So there's going to probably be some reform. I don't know what that means. I know we've talked about that at different times, raising the age and different things around that. Cap discretionary spending and stabilize like ballrooms and all of these other different issues we need to prioritize like we do at our kitchen table. And stabilize deficits so interest costs stop exploding. You can think about it like a credit card. I mean, at some point you gotta put that down. You gotta put it in the freezer and let a block form around it. You gotta slow it down and just start adjusting your behavior and moving forward. So here's the call to action: pay attention, ask hard questions, and demand honest plans from these politicians, not slogans from every leader who says they want to fix this, and every leader should want to fix this. So that's my thought around the $40 trillion, and let's see if anybody has any comments around that. Paris says we have some people on hold, so let's see what you have to say about this before we go on to the next segment. Here.
Hello, caller.
Good morning. How are you?
How you doing? I'm okay. I am a Harris County Democratic precinct chair. So I heard what you said about what you want to comment, but I did want to segue back to the last segment, if that's okay with you, to ask you a couple of questions.
That's
about
fine. Perfectly fine.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
But before I do that, just like you mentioned before, I want to give parents, I've been trying all week. I want to call in and give him his kudos. It's kind of...
Every time you're on the microphone, I'm listening. Go ahead. God bless you. My brother Babalola Goodrich, my bad. I'm telling you, you're out there all the time, active with children, the elderly, and with SHAPE and with NBUF, and you are all over, and we're all such a better region and community for it, brother. So I'm always ears when it comes to you. I'm back here listening, man. You good. On diversity of thought.
Thank you for what you just said about me. I also like to about that, but thank you. But, it's amazing to me, and it gives me a sense of pride, even though I'm from the great state of Chicago, that's how I named it, that you all have so many people inducted to these different halls of fame. And that's something that KCOA probably outpaces all the other larger market, Essence State. So you all always be proud of that. That's my 2 cents about that.
Yeah, well, we are. We're blessed.
You are doing a great job, in my opinion, and I want you to keep it up.
Thank you.
Two things that come to mind, because I was at the town hall that Talarico had. Matter of fact, I think I was the first person to speak. And I told him to call me Uncle Ernest because I had some points that I really wanted to make. And so when he made that comment that you referred to about the 25 million, I just want to know if you heard anything about him actually following up. And I know you can't dump it all at one time, but if any inroads have been made and how it's being used to get out the vote. And my second question would be about Vicki Goodwin. I received texts or emails about Dan Patrick refusing to debate her. I just wanted to know if you've heard anything along those lines.
Mr. Babalola, yes, she's actually going to be on next week with me, and I will have that on my question list for her, and we'll talk about it. Have I heard that? No. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, and I will ask her. Insofar as the 25 million, had that conversation. We've been having that conversation, and because Talarico's been on the show a couple of times, and there's requests out there for advertising with the station, and we will see the what we've been told, what I have been told. Let me be plainly here. What I have been told is that a lot of this starts in September, so we're almost there. And I will reserve my thoughts and my comments and see what happens with that. I know we've had people that have called in that have said they have heard advertisements on the radio in different, I would say, different parts of the state that are not largely African American. So I'm still giving him some grace on that. And we will see in September, we will see what happens. I mean, because he's everywhere. He was just on MSN Now last night, not once, but twice on 2 different shows. So we will see what happens, but that's what we have to do. And that's why I don't necessarily just say, okay, I'm going to vote for you. I don't come out and give that pledge to anyone. I wait and see if they're going to respond to the questions that I have about them, whether it's directly or hearing it directly like you did when you went to the town hall. And brother, we appreciate you for doing that. And sounds like you've been doing and have done a lot of that. So that's where I am with that. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. And just final comment, because you mentioned this being on MS Now and commercials and advertising. And I've seen 2 commercials of his. Mm-hmm. And they're okay, but I don't see us in those commercials. And that's the type of thing that I don't know who all of his advisors or his staff, but they need to wake up and smell coffee. And yeah, we don't have to be in every commercial, but we need to be in at least one of those 2 or something. I mean, he's not going to make it without the black folks. And sometimes they taking us for granted still. Because that was really my main point there. Earn my vote, I am a precinct yet. I know about what my role is, but stop taking us for granted.
Yeah, and thank you for the precinct chair position that you hold, because of something. A lot of my issues have been with what I see Democratic leadership and things like some of the choices that they're making, and we're talking about in Florida, and Paris and I just discussed the money and the money, the states that they put money into, where it was a challenge in Georgia, but because other people kept working, like yourself, the Stacey Abrams and the others, they now have 2 senators, 2 Democratic senators that are now in office. And I think that we have a chance to make that happen here in Texas as well. So thank you, sir. Appreciate the call. Okay, Perry. Next call.
Lydia and the bump, the bump in the road.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby Ray. Yes, sir.
I had a question, so you know I'm kind of slow. So I had never heard of liquor. I had never heard of this town in Kansas, Nicodemus, Kansas, and then I kind of heard about the Homestead Act of 1862, which I thought I was kind of a smart colored person, but
the source. Hold on, please. Hold on.
1976.
Okay.
You know, I was full grown in 1976. Yeah, I said, Miss Lily, I said, I could have got 150 acres of free land in 1976. I said, yeah, but I didn't know about it. So, and then I heard her talking about voting, and they mentioned Fannie and Lou Hamer. So, and Fannie Lou, and one time Fannie Lou said, and where is the NAACP? So I want to ask you, what's your kind of slow? So the NAACP don't necessarily mean for the Democrats. But I was good. I mean, where is Bishop Jackson? Where is the NAACP? I mean, I'm sorry. Can you help me out? Yeah.
I'm not, well, I have been a member of the NAACP, but I cannot speak for them. And I guess some of their positions could be taken as not representing, I think they're not a partisan organization, but a lot of the issues that they take up are for, you know, it's the National Association of Colored People, and so to represent African Americans in the United States and probably around the world. So yeah, I think that happens from time to time. Some of these groups, some of the organizations may seem to not necessarily I should say promoting, or be on the side that you might be on. But I think that's where you need to ask questions and call their offices and get some clarity. It's okay for you to do that. I mean, I love that you're calling into diversity of thought and asking those questions. But I want you to know that you also have the agency to reach out to some of these places that you see, that you hear about, that you see maybe on TV and on the internet, and reach out to their leadership, to their representatives, and you know, ask those hard questions. I don't think that you're doing the community justice in this particular issue or with that particular issue, and that's okay. I think that as a community, we need to get more comfortable about that. Most times we'll ask those questions in spaces where we feel safe. A lot of times we'll ask those questions in church or with people that we trust, and that we've seen things from, that we feel that we can trust. And we don't necessarily like reaching out on our own. But if it's anything that I could share, I'll share that, is that we need to get more comfortable, because the mindset that you have that these people are working for you, or they're saying, as the NAACP has said for over 100 years, that these are the goals that we want to, that we're looking to accomplish. And so if you see something that doesn't follow that line, you need to pick up the phone and call. And I'm sure that they would find someone that can answer your question or respond to your question. And if they don't, then yeah, call in and talk to us and tell us about it. And maybe between Paris and all the Hall of Famers here, myself, we can move around and try to figure out what's going on. So thank you, Mr. Barbara, for your call. Okay, Paris, is there another caller, or can I
Hello?
go on to my next segment here?
Oh, well, okay. You got a caller on right now. So maybe we'll take this one, and then you can go on to the next segment.
Let's take this one. Thank you.
Okay,
caller.
Yes, please listen to this.
I joined the DSA because I believe in them in regards to fighting for adequate public housing, as well as fighting for quality health care, as well as making sure that we are getting our veterans off the street, taking big money.
That's Angelique talking.
Okay. Well,
she joined DSA.
The link where I can go. I don't know who she is. I just heard a woman's voice talking, Mr. Barrett. I just heard a woman's voice.
Let me just see if I also can just inject something here. Maybe it might make a difference. Both things are true. Both things are true in different ways. It is true that she said she was not with the DSA on all issues. And it is reported as being true that she joined, that she recently joined. So but she is not a DSA candidate. She is not running, she did not run as a DSA endorsed candidate. And
she's a member of the DSA.
What she said was, yeah. It says she recently joined. This article says she recently joined, but that she is not a DSA endorsed candidate, and she said she does not adhere to many of the policies that they are proposing. That's what she said.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Mr. Barry.
Okay. Yeah. But she doesn't have to apologize. She said, okay. Okay. Okay, Barry. Okay, Barry. Okay, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So, okay. She joined the DSA.
Yes.
But I heard her say that she is not a DSA candidate, and she does not adhere to a lot of the positions that the DSA puts out there.
Yeah,
okay?
right. Yeah.
Same situation that I was just mentioning about an organization, the NAACP, or any of them, the Urban League, the Literacy Now, whatever. You can join an organization, but not necessarily be on the same page or adhere to some of the things that they may have on their agenda. I mean, I don't think that
as many people who joined the church will tell you. Look, Nixon joined the DSA a few weeks ago and told the Washington Post that she does not agree with the DSA on all issues, and she was not as a DSA endorsed candidate. And you can find that on this particular report comes out of News 4, which is an NBC broadcast station out of Jacksonville, Florida. So they can go to that as well. Yeah. Okay.
Paris, and
sure.
I think that this happens.
Well, we were going to get back to it. We were going to get back to it. I didn't know it was going to come up right then and there. But yes,
and that's fine. I'm glad he called.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking the time to call back in and to provide that clarification, and to give your additional take on that. But again, if you are listening to what's actually being said by not only Angie Nixon, but by myself and by Paris Eley, she joined the organization, but she is not a DSA candidate. She's a Democratic candidate for Florida Senate. So there you have it, and you could parse that however you would like. But I think that that's what the challenge is in a lot of the talking points that the Republicans have is that, and we're going to move on, and we'll have many more examples of parsing what people say, and not just Republicans, Democrats as well. We need to really pay attention and think about and hear more than one take on what's being said because Paris, I don't know if she said the same thing in the same interview or if there were two separate interviews where she made the comment. I don't know. That's another question I have.
Yeah,
But
well,
anyway,
people will be able to find out for themselves online because
yeah.
there's plenty of video. There's plenty of video out there. I did hear her clearly state on MS Now that she did not agree with abolishing. I think it was abolishing prisons. I heard her.
Yeah,
I heard her.
Not just the prison.
Yeah, there was something else.
Right,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah,
And her
yeah.
living in Florida.
She explicitly
did not
disagreed. Yeah.
understand.
Now, at that time, I didn't know whether she had joined or not. This that I'm reading was reported in the Washington Post that she joined a few weeks ago, and so that was just before this election, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But still that she, with the caveat that she did. That's why she said it the Wednesday morning after. She said, as a matter of fact, she was up at about 4:00 in the morning. They were doing this interview with her, and she had talked about how long the night had been. But he asked her about certain things, and in my mind, I'm hearing him ask her, did she want to get rid of the police or something? One of those kinds of things that we talk about, and we framed the arguments for as being against socialism or the dangers of socialism. And she said during her remarks, she said, "No, I don't agree with that." And then she said, "I don't agree." But she said they have several positions I don't agree with. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do we have another caller holding?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is the.
Saying they've been holding for a minute here.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
wanna...
This is
Okay.
This is it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Perry.
Okay.
Hey, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for holding on.
Hey,
Appreciate you. What's going on, bro?
I'm like Bobby Ray Tyrone. I need my money. You paying Texas Mike for flattering endorsements. I need my money.
All right.
So,
What's on your mind?
Oh man, I want to. Well, you got two subjects on the table. One being with politics, and the other one being with the budget. One of the things with politics that I think in the Nixon stage and the Benson stage is, I keep saying this same thing. It's not just about the amount of money that you have. It's about your ground game. And oftentimes people are putting money into places where they're not getting a good return on their investment. I don't know how much money Benson put into the race, but she saw a strategy that worked. And that strategy has always worked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he put 16 million. I know he raised 16 million, but did he
To
spend
her
16?
one.
Okay.
Million.
So so who did he spend the 16 million with? And and then oftentimes, we put money in places where we're not getting a good return on our investment. And then and I think y'all was talking about Tellerico with the 25 million. At what point does he start investing on trying to get a good return on his investment? Or, if it's going to be after Labor Day, then you want a limited amount of exposure to me that you don't want to pay for before Labor Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
this is concerned, and that's a playbook that the Democratic Party have always ran, okay? And we ain't going to talk about the Republican Party, but the point Jerome had a question about the NAACP. Me being a part of a nonprofit organization, I cannot independently endorse any political party, okay? I can endorse policy that's going to affect the community, but I cannot, put out, I endorse a party. I can endorse a candidate if that candidate, not even as the organization person, but as me as a personal person. But I cannot, if I'm representing the organization, I cannot go out and say you need to vote for this person or this person if I'm a true nonprofit organization and I'm not a political organization.
There is a way around that. And LULAC, because I've had them on, you can create a foundation or a
separate pack.
That,
yeah.
And that's how they endorsed Kamala Harris during the presidential election. First endorsement they had in their history. So go ahead.
And it goes back to what we're saying. We need to put our money up in a pack or something if we want to have the endorsement. Or, again, we need to influence public policy, right? And so that's what you're really trying to do is influence public policy that affects your community and you as a person as a whole. And so, we need to get out of, holding organizations accountable for something that they cannot do. We need to understand the process a little bit better. We keep talking about how they take statistics out of school. This is part of the problem, having a misunderstanding of what organizations can do, and that's the reason you see all these PACs and super PACs and stuff. That's where people are putting their money to be able to influence politicians, right? So you got to buy at least a politician, right? So this is what has to happen, and we're not playing in that arena. Because if we were playing in that arena, we could put Tellerico feet to the fire right now and say, look, we got a PAC over here, but you're not spending money out your campaign coffers in our community as a whole, but you think we're going to put our PAC money up to push you too? No. So
and it would take, we'll see what comes from that. Obviously, a lot of people have their eyes on that. He made the public comment, so a lot of people are focused in on that. When are they going to start hearing that? I haven't heard anything on any of the major African American radio, not just radio, but the internet stations. So they obviously haven't received any of that $25 million yet, but it'll be evident and obvious when it happens. If it happens, and I'm optimistic when it happens.
I'm gonna make a
anything else about?
I'm gonna make a quick comment about the deficit reduction, right? That you're discussing. How can we reduce this deficit that we have in the cost of our governmental spending? We need to go get our money back. Trump is killing all these billionaires and oligarchs are offshoring all these money. These corporations are offshoring their money, but they want the protection of the United States government. They got our soldiers and sailors sitting at sea for over 200 days. That is protection of companies, countries, and people who got special interests, right? So if you want that kind of protection, you need to pay for it. You need to quit offshoring your money in these offshore accounts. You need to quit hiding your money and pay your fair share of taxes. Because we as the working class are paying our fair share, and sometimes even more, if you really think about it.
Right.
So, we need to get our money back, and we need to claw our money back from these people these oligarchs and billionaires who are using the infrastructure of the United States and not benefit the whole class of citizens in the United States. And that's it.
Absolutely. And that's perfect point that ties back to our politics and the midterm. Elon Musk, because Ken Paxton has not raised, Tallarico has outraised him up to this point. And he hasn't been getting any PAC money. He's been, these are individual donors. This is money that's
coming from individual donors. But Elon Musk, I heard yesterday, he is pledging influx of money to Ken Paxton's race. But this is how we affect these things with these oligarchs, as you say. And he has a lot of businesses that he's trying to start up here in Texas or build. He already has businesses, but build locations here in Texas already doing that. But if we have a governor, Hinojosa, and we have a senator, Tallarico, we can at least have people in place to not hold him at bay, but still get those businesses to be built, but have this be more beneficial to the working people who can't find jobs. And I'm getting ready to put together a segment on that, or not talk about a segment on that right now. So that's how we hold people like Elon Musk at bay. Like you were just saying, you know, if we don't have those people in place, there's nothing that we can do. Yeah. Our ground game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get it up.
So thanks,
to counter this.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Liddy. Have a great day.
Have a good weekend. Okay, Perry. Is there anyone else holding?
No, you're good.
Before I go to this next segment. Okay, good.
Good.
So Trump
official says U.S. doesn't need as many jobs. Okay, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, one of Trump's top economic officials, the Treasury Secretary, is facing widespread criticism after offering what analysts call an unbearably dumb explanation for the latest round of disappointing job numbers, which we went over a couple of weeks ago on August the 4th. According to reporting, Bessent tried to defend the administration by claiming the weak unemployment data was actually the result of the economy being too strong. Then he added a line that stunned economists even more: we don't need to produce as many jobs as before. The backlash was immediate. Economists, journalists, and policy experts said Bessent's comments ignored basic economic reality and dismissed the lived experience of millions of Americans who are actively looking for work. We know we have some milks out there not actively looking for work, especially African American workers who are feeling the slowdown first, and those who are actively looking for work. Black unemployment sits at 6.3%, and Black youth unemployment is at 12.1%, with Black women and men disproportionately represented among those laid off in retail, hospitality, education support roles, and administrative jobs. For these workers, the idea that America doesn't need to produce jobs is not just tone deaf, it's dangerous. And what the latest data shows makes the weakness plain. July's BLS report, the Bureau of Labor Statistics report, found healthcare adding 22,000 jobs and construction ticking up. Yet the country still lost 23,000 jobs overall. Gains driven by necessity, not confidence. Manufacturing barely grew. Retail and leisure hospitality shed tens of thousands of jobs. Local education fell sharply, and tech and clean energy stayed flat as employers tighten and automate. So that's why Bessent's claim that weak numbers reflect an economy too strong drew backlash. It ignores a clear structural slowdown and the rising unemployment for Black workers, young workers, and workers without college degrees highlighted in this Newsweek data, which was my reference for this. Additionally, the reporting reinforces that slowdown. The U.S. lost, as I stated just a minute ago, lost 23,000 jobs in July, and hiring for May and June was revised downward. by 103,000 jobs. So that's important to know. These numbers have been revised May and June by 103,000 jobs, showing the labor market was weaker than previously believed. As the article notes, hiring is extraordinarily weak. Hiring rates are where they were in 2011 in the aftermath of the Great Recession. The unemployment rate rose to 4.1%, and the labor force participation rate fell to 61.4%, continuing a decline seen earlier this year. Administration officials have argued that tougher immigration enforcement is helping ensure available jobs go to American workers. But economists say the shrinking labor force is a long-term threat to growth. As Heidi Sherholz put it, deporting immigrants does not make U.S.-born workers better off. Deportations ripple through the entire economy. And if y'all don't know, Heidi Sherholz is a labor economist. She's the president of the Economic Policy Institute and formerly served as chief economist at the U.S. Labor during the administration. So, and then let's talk about the deportation, right? Researchers warn that mass deportations could shrink the workforce at a time when employers already report hiring challenges. Stuart Anderson of the National Foundation for American Policy said that without immigrants and their children, the U.S. would have seen little labor force growth in recent years. He also noted that unemployment for U.S.-born workers rose to 4.6% in July, up from 4.3% when Trump took office, evidence that deportations are not improving job prospects for citizens. Who is hurt first? This is the context missing from defense. His comment, "We don't need to produce as many jobs as before," it lands differently when entire communities are struggling to find work. Black workers, particularly teens and young adults, are being squeezed out of sectors that once offered entry-level opportunities. Black women who anchor the service economy are being hit by cuts in retail, hospitality, and education support roles. Black men are seeing fewer openings in manufacturing, logistics, and construction. Even though our earlier caller, he's out there working, there are jobs there, but there seem to be fewer openings. There are openings, but fewer. These are not people who don't need jobs. These are people who can't find jobs that used to exist. And so against this backdrop, Basin's attempt to reframe weak job numbers as a sign of strength struck many observers as political spin rather than economic analysis. Commentators argued that the explanation underestimated the public's understanding of economic reality and risked further eroding trust in the administration's economic stewardship. The reaction underscores a larger issue. When economic data contradicts political messaging, officials face pressure to either confront the numbers honestly or risk losing credibility. In this case, the Sense comments became a flashpoint, not just because the job numbers were bad, but because the explanation seemed to defy logic at a moment when vulnerable workers are already bearing the brunt of the slowdown. As the administration continues to defend its economic record, the public will be watching closely to see whether future explanations reflect the data or repeat the kind of messaging that led to this week's backlash. So I reported on 8-4 with, let's just ask you a question. Do you believe immigration policy is helping or hurting job opportunities in your community? Okay, and then I reported, like I said a couple of weeks ago, research cited by Houston Public Media shows that when immigration enforcement spikes, industries don't gain openings, they contract. Construction slows, restaurants cut hours, warehouses reduce routes, and workers across Houston become afraid to commute. So here's the question. If enforcement is shrinking the very industries where Hispanic workers keep Houston running, what does that mean for Black workers who are already facing rising unemployment? Is this policy creating opportunity or erasing the jobs entire communities rely on? So that's a question for you guys to think
about with this segment. So when I look at these things, the $40 trillion of debt, the thought that we don't need jobs created, when you have a BLS report showing that, we're losing jobs, and we know 600,000 black women who were laid off, and black men, I think it was 300,000 plus. What does that mean exactly? And I mean, there's a contradiction, and we're talking about candidates who joined the organization, but are telling you up front, I don't agree with these labels, and looking at socialism where people under the age of 30 and probably from 18 to 40 that don't even understand really what socialism means, and in the context that it existed, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, is not the same in the environment that we're currently living in. And so the distraction would be there versus having you focus on these kitchen table issues, these economic issues, which is why I believe that, I think the Democrats are going to win on the economy and corruption that's out there right now. A lot of the corruption that we see. So, Perry, any thoughts?
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, they're so extensive. You got great subjects. Great, absolutely. You're going to the heart of our country right now, and the heart of our voters right now, and it speaks about how we make decisions that we are in this place. So I'm going to give a synopsis of my views now, but as you do so often, you've set up my Monday program because these issues are existent. They are holding. They are right now a topic of conversation, and they will be in the foreseeable future. And I got to begin by asking you, so they got two reports coming out now. They got the BLS report, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they got the BS report, which is coming from Scott Bessent. Is that right? Is that pretty much right? Okay. This guy is bananas. We got a government that doesn't work at the military level. It's not working at the justice level, and it's not working at the economic level. The very things that they promised to turn around. And then this guy, this pathetic man, Bessent, who was previously thought to be able to do so much if he just applied himself and did his job, but now has proven to be a disappointment. As a matter of fact, he was thought of as a credible Treasury Secretary who has a real understanding of the global economy. And then he comes out and makes a statement like this yesterday. Under President Trump's leadership, or it may have been the day before, under President Trump's leadership, we are on a path toward unprecedented economic growth. First lie, lasting dollar dominance. Second lie, and fiscal strength and stability. There is no more powerful way to recognize the historic achievements of our great country and President Donald J. Trump than U.S. dollar bills bearing his name. And it is only appropriate that this historic currency be issued at the semi-quincentennial. And there should be a note here saying dangerous to your mental health. This man is a nut. All right, that should be the postscript on that. Despite his years, his accolades that he has acquired through the years, this is worship. This is a cult we're talking about. Go to another area. Move to immigration if you prefer. I remember not just telling people, saying to people, look, let's think this through. And I had people telling me, why do you like immigrants? Well, some are even writing stuff about me. Why do you love immigrants more than you love your own people? It's because you guys are not going to get those jobs. If you think this animus just goes in one direction, white folks against Mexicans, you're sadly mistaken. If those jobs go away, they are going to, if those people leave here and those jobs don't go away, the people who do get those jobs will be paid a substantially reduced amount of money. You are going to get lower wages. I played clips on it with C. Lamont Hill. I played clips on it from financial analysts. Then I had them call me, no, they're taking jobs from Americans and the prices would go up. Well, they didn't say Americans. They said they're taking jobs from those of us who've been here. Our brothers could be working, and I heard all of that. So some of it, the same argument they had with DEI. Like, oh, just let them, we got to get we got to get the immigrants out first. When I asked one brother, well, why haven't they done some of this stuff before the immigrant crisis loomed? What was wrong with our wages then? Why didn't they increase the wages then? Well, now we got to get the immigrants out, see, and then they're going to put us in the game. Well, no, it's not working like that. And we refuse sometimes to see those things which were there. So I'm sick of people who cheer these people on. Well, just wait, let them do this bad thing to us, and then we will be the beneficiaries of the good thing. You know, that goes to DEI. Right. That goes to, when you see those people attacking and rolling back like that, they go after a targeted audience that is unpopular with you, and then they start coming after you. Read history. It's there. This is not sneaky stuff. So you have put your fingers on it. And remember, it was Besson talking about how he was tired of hearing about it being a K-shaped economy. And this is what the followers of Dear Leader do. This is what they do. They tell you they're tired of hearing about something that they can't explain or that they can't defend. Yeah. When they get to a point they can't defend anything, they don't want to talk about it anymore, which is why they like changing subjects. But these are real articles. Right. These thousands of sailors out there costing us $60 billion a day, that's real money. This man has spent, I heard an observation this morning that said, if you take the amount of our debt that has been increased since Donald Trump, the debt as it currently stands, if you were making $1 million a day, it would take you something like 20,000 years to make up enough money to just pay back the interest, I think it is, whatever it was. I mean, that's how ridiculous these figures are. And then they blame Joe Biden. I don't want to hear anybody make disparaging remarks about Kamala Harris. At least she said no war. Donald Trump lied about there being a war as his next move, but she told you he was going to do something stupid in that region of the country, and he has. And not only has he done it once, he does it every day. He compounds the stupid moves. So there you have it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Paris, and you. Thank you for that, and I love your righteous indignation because it needs to be there, and we all need to have that. And you talking about DEI. I had this other story, and it's a few of them I have because we don't have any guests. It's us and the caller.
Wait. You may just have lucked out there because you got one who just walked in. Your guy, Stevens, is here. Stevens just walked into the studio. And so I got Lydia on. You know? Yeah. And she's holding court here on diversity of thought. So he's here. So you can you can have at it. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
We're talking about the economy and a bunch of things.
Steven.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Just coming in for a quick meeting, and also I figure I'll stop by and say hi.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I won't keep you long. And thanks, Paris, for putting them on.
Yeah. I haven't heard the two of you in a while. Yeah, give myself a treat too. Go ahead. Yeah.
We were talking earlier at the opening of the show. I did talk about this week's primary.
Florida.
So I guess we have Florida, and we're talking about Angie Nixon on the Democratic side, who won the primary for U.S. Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we've got Byron Donald,
right,
who won the Republican nomination to run for governor there, and just kind of batting around, Angie Nixon and Alex Vindman and that race, and how it was, not necessarily David versus Goliath, but he had $16 million dollars raised versus her $1 million.
Right.
And but the voters came out and supported her. And then we've got Brian Donald, and he's going to be running against David Jolly, the Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And so this Southern pattern that we've been seeing with like moderates in the South and progressives in the North, Florida kind of broke that mold a bit. And Byron Donald is being rewarded, it seems, by Donald Trump for his loyalty, right?
Right.
And so my question is, will voters reward him in November with David Jolly? Will black voters and Hispanic voters, especially looking at black men, will they vote for Byron Donald for that reason?
Right.
Or will they vote for the Democrat? That was a question that popped into my head about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angie Nixon, I think black women nationwide, we've seen a lot of stuff go on with these races,
right,
in where black women have been running. And so I think that may have been a lot of their incentive to get out there and put Angie Nixon over, and she won. She won big.
Mm-hmm. She sure
did. She won big. So wanted to get your thoughts on that. Did y'all talk about that on Wednesday? I caught the end of the show.
Oh, we touched on it a little bit. As far as just like the surprise of it, because now Angie Nixon is on the national radar, and we all get to know her better. I just remember her from that one clip very early on in I think 2 years ago, where she was on the floor of the House, the Florida State House, advocating for Palestine and against the genocide, and she was in the middle of one of her her passages that she wrote to read and speak out against that, and she was asking out loud how many more children and people and women must be killed, and somebody, you don't hear it, but her reaction, she repeats his words, she's like, oh, one of my colleagues just isn't all of them. And I remember that clip had gone viral, and basically she continued her plea after that, after highlighting how just apathetic is the least word, but heartless is the other word. That statement was, and that sentiment has been for so many of the politicians in the establishment. Whenever they talked about Palestine, they were willing, and happily willing to just express that complete disdain for the entire community over there. And so I remember that, but then learning more about her this time has been fascinating, because she spent $0 on TV ads. There was nothing on the television, and her campaign, like you mentioned, only raised $1 million to the 16 million for the other candidate, establishment candidate.
16 million. Yeah.
And also that
Alex Simmons, yeah.
he refused to debate her, to engage with her. So I think people also responded to that. Like he basically just kind of
he looked past her. Yeah.
He phoned it in.
Yeah.
And so basically just ended up losing to basically 12-point difference, like a big wallop. So that was fun to see. Now the dynamics that presents is going to be very interesting, and I think we're going to see how much the establishment, because she's the Democratic nominee. So will we get a Stacey Abrams come to rally for her? Will you get a Jasmine Crockett to come and show up and rally for her? All the prominent black politicians that we know and advocates for voting, with these PACs and these organizations. So it's going to be interesting to see how well they're able to execute that. But of course, you see the dynamics already brewing, and it's going to be a case study in the future for how media tries to keep the black community divided through this like black man versus black woman narrative. Because they're probably going to muddy the waters a lot on like podcasts and social media, and it's just going to be, something to watch.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. And earlier, I'll get your take on this before you go. DSA, Angie Nixon, and I've heard her. Well, we discussed this, and we had a caller call in and say she was a DSA.
Mm-hmm.
I heard her say she was not DSA. She was not a DSA candidate, but she had joined the party, and she didn't want labels put on her.
Correct.
She agreed with some of the takes of the DSA, the economy being the major one, and some of these other issues that need to be worked out. And so just your thoughts on this narrative that the right, that Republicans have been throwing around and creating a lot of, and the fact that she's a black woman and associated with the DSA seems to be a double negative in all of these, negative pejoratives that are put out.
Right.
What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, we're talking about a Republican Party that is trying to execute the same strategies during the most unpopular time. So I don't know if it will be that effective. Honestly, the Republican Party is the party of Trump, and so the association to Trump has been losing when it comes to the special elections that we've been seeing since his new term. We had the one that just happened in Pennsylvania as well, where they flipped that House seat from Republican to Democrat, and like a 19 point swing.
Right.
And so Trump, becoming unpopular in swing states is one thing. Florida's gonna be a whole entire thing, because Florida, I think, is a very strange Republican stronghold at the moment, with just the makeup of the anti-socialist Venezuelans and Cubans and such like that. But then also we have to see that people are in self-preservation mode, so they've seen how Trump has been deporting Venezuelans and Cubans and such, so it doesn't really matter anymore as far as party allegiance. As far as allegiance to Trump really matters the most, and if Byron Davis is gonna be tied to Trump, then I think that may be enough to sink him, and we'll see.
Well, we will see, but it makes for interesting races, and I appreciate talking to you about it.
Of course. Hey, I wanted to mention something. I don't know if you saw it, because I saw it just on the way here. I guess James Tallarico was on MS Now last night or yesterday.
Yes, 2 times.
Right. And in one of those times, he gave a shout out. He brought up talking about down the ballot candidates, and he mentioned Letitia Plummer. And that was a very huge thing. I appreciated seeing, because he's also saying why is important, because the voting turnout for Letitia Plummer means that it helps him and Gina Hinojosa. So I like how he was able to lay that out to express why is important, and we know that trickles down to communicating to the black community that they are very important.
And to tag on to that, see, this is what we have to take into account when we talk about broadcasting, getting the message out. When the candidate is popular and he's rising, he's using his success to bring the other candidates along who would not have had national exposure.
Right.
That's called earned media.
Right.
When you get your story is so important that the national media feel they have to cover it. And so you get, instead of a 60-second spot, you get 30 minutes on national television.
Because I don't know how much y'all pay attention to the new media coming out as far as in politics, because, Fox News, MS Now, these are not like old establishment. Like their generation are the ones that still watch TV. The biggest, most active generation we're seeing is the ones that are looking at it on their phones. So, like, as far as media goes, at one point, Turning Point USA with Charlie Kirk was like the top. But I think now there's somebody else there. I forgot which right wing media is the one that has the most viewers. But on the other side is Midas Touch.
No doubt. Ben Masalas,
Are those the
Midas
young
Touch.
brothers that are on?
Yeah, there's three of them. It's three brothers, and they've got independent media. They refer to Fox as regime media.
Regime media.
But the Midas Touch used to be, it's been developing for a while because he was on other platforms, right?
I've been seeing them put Gina Hinojosa as well a lot. So
they put Gina Hinojosa on, and they dig deeply, and they have coverage on the Iran war. They told us that the sailors were in trouble long before we were talking about it. They talked about the depletion of oil long before it was on. And now I know they have arrived because the Pentagon and the White House have set their sights on the Midas Touch right now.
Absolutely.
They tried to keep reporters. They don't want them to have reports from the press. And it's true, when they tried to impose embargo, Ben Masalas and his brothers kept talking about it, and they've got a network of lawyers. They've got a network of professionals who really dig deep, and they have inside sources.
Right.
So they have officers talking to them. They have a lieutenant general who comes on and gives them report about the war.
That's been causing like leaks towards the Washington Post as well. So it's kind of like they're getting it on both fronts because people are now saying like, well, this is the time to share. So it's it's starting to really become a big expose. But I just want to highlight that because Gina Hinojosa being able to have more exposure on what's like a growing left media that's highly influential apparently.
It is.
And so that's been great to see because like that's what I actually was hoping to see since like the Tallarico primary was over. It's like, all right, I need to learn about the governor, lieutenant governor race as well. And of course, I always have my eye on. I would say I always have my eye on the Harris County judge.
Yeah, Harris County races, but Stevens, for the past month and moving forward, I've had the guest on from the down ballot races. So, other than Tallarico and Gina Hinojosa, we had Nathan Johnson, who's running for AG, and next week, Vicki Goodwin, who's running for lieutenant governor, is going to come on with us as well. So, and also giving people brief descriptions of what those down ballot roles actually do. Because a lot of times the education's not there as to, what the attorney general actually does. And I think that it's important, what the comptroller, what their responsibilities are, how the railroad commissioner, what their responsibilities are, because it's just not about the railroad, right? It's about oil and gas, and a lot of people, don't get that. So brief descriptions of what the roles do, I think, are important.
Yes.
And if you already know, that's fine. But we know that there are a lot of people out there that are listening, that need to go vote. We want them to be as knowledgeable as possible. So I am working on that along with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course, and I'm happy to see that. Yeah, this is a big need for independent media to work in conjunction with each other as a network. In that spirit, I don't know if you were aware of it, maybe because I feel like you got your posts on all these events, but TSU is hosting an event on the 25th, Tuesday next week, from 6 p.m. 8 p.m. Called the Stop One for the Powered by the People HBCU tour. And you're going to have some guests there, including Dr. Letitia Plummer, but also Stacey Childs, who's the nominee for the House District 131 here in Texas, as well as Dr. Darlene Brew or Bro. How we say this?
I think it's Bro.
What is it?
Breau.
Yeah, Bro.
Okay.
Bro, yeah.
So Darlene Bro,
Bro.
she's also the nominee for 149. Tracy Gibson, the party chair, will be there.
Oh yeah, the chair.
And in Paris, I don't know if this name is familiar to her, but a Don Jones is moderating, which was our first guest on Talking Politics with Friends.
Wow, yeah,
So
definitely.
It's a TSU alum, so that's why that's how we know each other. So and Lydia, if you didn't know about this one, I could definitely send it to you and maybe be able to see you there, because I'm trying to make it there after I'm done with my day.
Yeah, and let me say this before he bounces. Stevens has some other programs coming on too. That's why we spoke with Callie and Takeda the other day. We've got some young people coming on, and we are going to discuss the arts as well as politics in these different programs. And so we just wanted the audience to know that. So there's a place opening up here for a lot of different voices, in keeping with the pass along information, I'll call it, that we'll get from places like the Midas Touch. We ask Stevens to look into that for me, because I want to see about clearances, so we can play some of these clips for you and integrate it into our regular broadcast. There are already rules pertaining to it, but we, out of an abundance of caution, we don't want to do anything that gets our current broadcast, taken down or flagged for any reason. We want to keep this rhythm going. So I just wanted you to know that. Sounds good. Okay.
Well, it was nice talking to you, Lydia.
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
So are you breaking, or you wanna you roll you call it you call it. I'm riding jump seat.
Thank you, Bear. Let's just take a brief break, and we'll be right back with Diversity of Thought.
Hi, I'm JJ Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years.
My man, how you been, bro?
Quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept.
Oh, she's coming at 1, right?
That has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive the personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental, 713-738-1999.
And we want to remind you also that there is the breakfast coming up tomorrow morning, and we're inviting you to attend. It's at the Wyndham right here on Kirby Drive. It is the legislative breakfast. It is sponsored by Representative Al Green, and he has a breakfast that is now 5 years old. Yeah, 5 years old. This is the 5th annual Slavery Remembrance Legislative Update Breakfast Meeting. It's going to highlight the congressional resolutions, and you'll be honoring Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, and our very own former Congressman Anthony Craig Washington. That's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be from 9. It's going to begin at 9 a.m. Special invited guests will be the prominent clergy, public officials, and civic organizations throughout the region, throughout the area. And we're hoping that you will get there as well. That's 9 o'clock tomorrow morning at 8686 Kirby Drive. That is the Wyndham Hotel. Now, the way to get this information and to get registered, because you cannot get in unless you are registered, go online to 2026 Slavery Remembrance Day here in Houston at Eventbrite. You want to go to Eventbrite. That is where you will find the information. Go to Eventbrite and get registered, become a part of this conversation that's going to be there tomorrow. So please be sure you do so. We are the source, and don't forget also tomorrow Ron Jackson will be here. Ron Jackson tomorrow, you'll have him. He'll be right here. And Kerry Lewis following Ron. And then there's a cool Fayette. And Kerry Lewis returns with great music.
Informative, entertaining, inspiring. It's the Jackson Political Report, hosted by veteran political strategist Ron Jackson. Ron will discuss local, state, national, and international politics. The show features commentary, guest interviews, and audience dialogue. The Jackson Political Report, this Saturday morning, 10 to 11 on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Oh, was that what? Yeah.
Are you looking for a pharmacy where you're more than just the next person in line, where the pharmacist is friendly, willing to talk to you about your prescriptions and over-the-counter medications, where they make deliveries to customers in the general area? Then you need my pharmacy of choice. Mercury Drive Pharmacy, 918 Mercury Drive, right off of I-10 East, near the 610 Loop. James Muldrow and his staff are there to serve you. I've been a customer for over 37 years. The insurance companies have tried to steer me to the corporate pharmacies, but I prefer Mercury Drive. It's a staple in East Houston, serving Fidelity, DeCento City, Pleasantville, Fifth Ward, North Shore, Wood Forest, Galena Park, Channel View, offering free delivery to those areas and others. Most insurances are accepted. Mercury Drive Pharmacy is open Monday through Saturday for your convenience. Phone 713-674-6122. 713-674-6122. Mr. Muldrow and his staff are happy to serve you. Mercury Drive Pharmacy, 918 Mercury Drive, south of I-10 East.
For whatever it was,
This is Gilbert
it's
Andrew
not
Garcia with
intentional.
Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer.
Yeah,
Listen
Barry
to my
wasn't
show
able to
every
get in
Monday from
before
11 to
going,
12
but
on
gets in-
KWWJ,
gets in
1360
relatively
AM,
often, and
KYOK,
sometimes
1140
before-
AM,
sometimes it has worked in his favor.
KCOH at 1230
We
KCOH.com,
won't tell him
St. Pete
that.
Radio
There's no
at
need for him to
95.1 FM, 1460 AM, and Latino Sports, KEYH, 850
Sure.
AM. Call
Sure.
in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
A tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 KCOH.
You got a lot of
The
things. Go
Source.
ahead. You're doing great.
Everybody's talking about the high price of eggs. I don't know much about eggs, but I tell you this. If you want great chicken at a great price, how about Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside? Let's see what his customers are saying. Michelle writes, Chicken Plus has some of the best fried chicken and best fried okra in the city. We stay about 45 minutes away, but the drive is definitely worth it. E. Max says, the chicken is seasoned so well and every bite has a special crunch. It's my go-to chicken spot when I want homemade fried chicken that's always good. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Great fried chicken, okra, rice and gravy, desserts. You're going to find it all at Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside. You don't have time to make the drive? Hey, no problem, no problem. You can order Chicken Plus on DoorDash and Uber Eats. You better do what you got to do to get your hands on some of that great fried chicken, the best fried chicken in the city. Great chicken at great prices. That's Chicken Plus. See you there.
The Source.
And now, a message from
You
the
know you
future
can. Hold
frequency.
on. You're up next. You're up next. When she breaks, she's
Gen
going
Z
to
and
come to you,
millennials.
okay?
If you're ready to make your voice count, here's how you make it happen. First, register to vote. It only takes a few minutes. Just look up your local election office and follow the steps for your area. Next, verify your information. Confirm your name, your address, and your polling location so nothing slows you down. And don't wait for election day. Vote early. Pick your day, pick your time, and skip the lines. Make your plan to vote early and vote to be heard. The future is live right now, and you're the frequency.
This message is powered by Diversity of Thought and proudly sponsored by 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Okay, welcome back to Diversity of Thought. I'm Lydia Flanagan, and I have Hall of Famer Paris Eley with me. And we're going to take a caller before we go on to two different stories. One's a DEI story, and the other is a media story that includes Stephen A. Smith. So wanted to discuss that with y'all as well. So, hello, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Lydia. Thank you for taking the call. You know, I really enjoyed when you asked this question about socialism or democratic socialism. You said most people, I don't know if you used the word most, but you said people don't even understand what socialism is. This is absolutely correct. This is using those languages is just another way to confuse people, non-white people. For example, someone says, isn't this person that's running, isn't she a democratic socialist? As to say that something's wrong with her. But we got a president who's a thrift, who's stealing money, who's making billions of dollars, who's ignoring sailors, jumping overboard on a ship. And the ship is not like a boat. That ship is like high in the air, like 3 or 4 stories. And it will cause us, due to our confusion, to get into some type of strange debate to say that there's something wrong with a person if they declare themselves a socialist. Well, you're a socialist. I'm not talking you, but I'm talking in general. You're a socialist too. You know, when we buy a house and if Lydia walks on the curb, I don't own that curb. Lydia, her brother, her sister, my brothers and sisters, my neighbors own that curb. Socialism is owned by the people. The road that Lydia travels in from her house to the radio station or to the grocery store, I don't own that road. That road is socialism. It is owned by the people. So I encourage people to do like Lydia does. Open up a book. Study. Because when we don't, if we refuse to study, find out what this system is and exactly how it works, everything that we think we know, example, socialism, will totally confuse us. Lydia don't have to offer no apologies. She shouldn't even have to spend 15, 20 minutes defending a person that says there's a socialist. So what? One thing we do know, they hanging black people in Mississippi.
Good. How you doing? Yes, it has. Hey,
Thank you, Eley. Thank you so much.
Hey, Jared, how you doing, my brother?
Talking about system itself, and you're absolutely right. And I don't know if I said most about socialism, but I will say that there are a lot of people of all different ages that don't really understand what it is. But in this context of current day, we do know that SNAP benefits are being cut.
Thank you.
We do know that that gasoline is, we can't go all the places that we used to go because gasoline is so high. We do know that all of these different things are happening. And insofar as Social Security, I was had the understanding, and Paris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I paid into that system. They call it Social Security, but I paid into that system. I paid into it and continue to my whole life, my whole working life. And that's money that I made a contractual agreement with the government to receive funds once I can no longer work. That was the reason why. So the thought that that's something that you're being given, you've worked for that. So,
it's a little, listen, it's just slightly a little more involved in that. The fact is, you've already lived out your obligation. The money that you were paying into this paid off for the generation that preceded us. Our generation has kept its promise. Now there is a future generation. The people who are out there working are having the dollars that are being deducted from their paychecks are going towards us as well as we age even deeper into the programs that need subsistence. So, so this is why we don't want them in debt. We don't want that money to run out. Yeah.
Right. And that's really important. Those are the things that I believe that we should be focusing on more so than trying to put labels on individuals and give them the opportunity to explain exactly what it is that they're about. And then you make your decision from there. But, this the ongoing discussions about people and the DSA, and I just think it's distraction for the election and the upcoming election. And we need to open a book. We need to do more research. We need to take the time to invest a little bit, or not a little bit, to invest in our communities and the things that we care about. So, Ali, you still there?
That might have been that popping sound. That might have been that popping sound when it went off.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for calling in, and he's always got great stuff to say.
He does.
I want to talk about this this story that I heard about, and I decided to look more into it. And the DEI tag really kind of prompted me to look to research it. So they were promised new septic tanks, and Trump called it illegal DEI. And so in Lowndes County, Alabama, and Lowndes County is located about 40 miles southwest of Montgomery. If you need a larger city for that, give you an idea of where it is. Families were promised something basic. New septic tanks to replace failing systems that had been flooding their yards and homes for years. Many residents, mostly black, have lived with sewage pooling outside their doors, backing into their houses and creating serious health risks. The crisis is rooted in the geography of the Black Belt, and that's a region named for its rich, dark soil so dense with clay that traditional septic systems simply don't work. And that's the reason the septic systems versus a lot of Alabama's a lot of rural area, so the city and all of that goes on with the infrastructure didn't happen here. So a soil so dense with clay that traditional septic systems simply don't work. When those systems fail, the consequences aren't small. Each year, millions of gallons of untreated wastewater, translating into tens of thousands of pounds of raw human waste, seep into the ground, wash in the ditches, and contaminate the water that residents rely on. During heavy rain, wastewater backs up into bathtubs, rises under trailers, and spreads across yards where children play. It's a cycle that is repeated for decades in a region where poverty, geography, and neglect collide. So after generations of this neglect, the Biden-Harris administration stepped in, and in 2023, the Department of Justice and the Department of Health and Human Services launched a civil rights investigation and reached a settlement with Alabama, requiring the state to finally address the wastewater crisis. And in 2024, the EPA expanded its wastewater access initiative to include Lowndes County. The first concrete funding allocation was $1.5 million provided through the American Rescue Plan and administered by the Alabama Department of Public Health, the first real step towards installing safe, functional septic systems. But this article, and this was NBC, But this article highlights a painful contradiction. While federal DEI restrictions have mostly targeted education and workforce programs, which is what we talk about here quite a bit, it was the current Trump administration that labeled this wastewater project illegal DEI, arguing that prioritizing a historically neglected Black community amounted to discrimination. And that raises the question, how can a septic tank be considered DEI? Because when DEI is defined so broadly that any targeted investment in a neglected community is treated as a violation, even essential public health and infrastructure projects get swept into the political fight. The result is that families dealing with raw sewage are told their suffering can't be addressed, not because the need isn't real, but because the community receiving help is predominantly Black. This isn't about admissions or hiring, it's about public health and basic sanitation and the right to live in a home that isn't contaminated. And when political rhetoric overtakes practical reality, the people who pay the price aren't the policymakers. Their families living with chronic illness, contaminated soil, and decades of broken promises. Families who have watched thousands of pounds of waste enter their environment year after year while waiting for relief that never came. Stories like Lowndes County remind us why these conversations matter. Policy isn't abstract. It shows up in people's homes and their health and their hope for a better future. So call to action is to stay alert to how DEI is being used across every policy arena. Education, jobs, healthcare, housing, and even public health. Classrooms and fair hiring practices help our communities build a path towards better living conditions. But when DEI becomes a catch-all label to block those efforts, families lose access to the systems that keep them safe, healthy, and economically stable. And as we move towards the midterms, we need to pay attention and ask questions and hold leaders accountable for how they apply DEI in every corner of public policy. So that needs to be a question that we ask, and we understand the context of this particular story and how it's being used, and find out how these folks that are running for office, how they feel about it. So Paris, did you, and I know that we have had issues like this in certain parts of Houston with the cortisone, or I forget what the name of the railroads and some of the
the contaminants and
the contaminants here in Houston,
and
we've been having our politicians get in there and they know it's an issue. Things are being done. It's working. But in this particular, county in Alabama, I mean, this is going on, and the money for it to fix this got pulled. And I mean, I can't even imagine having to live in a situation like that where you're dealing with all of this. So, DEI in regards to septic tanks.
That is just,
and how that's DEI.
That is just amazing. The things, the services and programs that they eliminate under the guise of DEI. And I think it's going to come back to haunt this Republican Party. They keep extending the things that are DEI intended to painting these things. There's a limit to how much you can scare people, I think, before it blows up in its face and becomes comical or the subject of derision and ridicule. When it gets into eliminating documents and manuscripts from history, our museums, We shouldn't have certain documents shown because they are DEI. And so you take out documents that are legitimate and have been a legitimate part of our documented history for years under the guise somehow that they're favoring us because they are favoring poor people because they specifically cite a true thing that happened to poor people, whether it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, or whether it's hangings. They can't show those pictures because they are DEI, or whether it's health services. They are they're spreading this net across so many areas in our society.
Very, very good description.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking. We're talking about history, of course, and we've been talking about history, but we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Health, Department of Health and Human Services. This stuff is happening today.
Today. Yeah.
And my thing is, if other communities that weren't, because I think Alabama is either Alabama or Mississippi. I think it may be Mississippi. So I was going to say the largest population number-wise of African Americans. There's a large African American. So, but if other communities, be they white and impoverished, or Hispanic or whatever, if that would have been easy enough to solve and say, okay, Loudoun County, are there other neighborhoods that are experiencing this? Because we need to address where we know it's been happening for generations, they say, because of this. But are there other places in Loudoun County where this is happening? And that would have been a conversation.
Right.
And then we could have said, okay, we need to fix all of this. You're not talking about across the United States of America. And so why not, you would expect, just like the Biden-Harris administration stepped in and did this research, that the current administration would get in and look at the research and ask that question if you have DEI concerns or that the money wasn't being evenly distributed where it needed to be, and you would just extend that and help all the people, end of story, fix the problem.
Right.
Why are you just trying to cause division? You trying to just not help the people who need the help where these funds were given, and you have citizens living this way, and you just basically are saying, okay, this is we have a position that we don't think that this is right and that we should be doing this, and this is the end of the story. We could not. Okay, the conversation's not there, and you wait. Basically, this is how I interpret. You wait till somebody gets in there that's going to represent your needs, because these are the people that we're thinking about. They aren't complaining about it, even if they did have it. And so we just kind of moving on. And when somebody gets in that you feel like it's going to represent your needs, then they'll pick it back up again. I don't know. That's just the vibe I get, Harris.
That's such a crazy way to run a society. I mean, because it's crazy, but that does seem to be what's happening. While we've got the power, we're going to make these changes irrespective of the overall harm that it might be doing. We are going to do it because we want to be able to say, well, when we had our chance to do it, we did it, instead of rethinking your position. This is how you wind up alienating people, when you begin to just charge full speed ahead with your blinders on, mistakenly believing that you're interpreting the results to have a mandate that you really don't have. That is what's happening in immigration. This is why they are losing people. And it's happening across the board. And again, in health, you can see it. The big surprise to them, and I don't know why it's a surprise now, is when they trudge ahead and they're doing these things in the face of data that says, stop, hold on, we don't want you to do that. They do it anyway. They do it anyway. Yeah. It's not like they don't know it anymore. It's not like, oh, we have this mandate behind us. They don't have that mandate. They are arbitrarily interpreting it as a mandate. In other words, the thing is whatever I call it. If I say I have a mandate, then I do it, and I proceed as though I have a mandate when the people have clearly told me not to do that. They're doing it with the Iran war. They are doing it with health. People are saying, slow down. Let's look at where we are with measles and spreading disease, and they cannot hear these people. And these are people who are just doing what they want to do, and they do it not just to the general public, they do it with our agencies. And when they can't find people who go along with what they want to do, they shortcut regulations, and when they can't find somebody to do that, they fire that person and put somebody in there who will do it. And they, in effect, render our idea of representative democracy to be just moot, just in name. Thank God for judges, because that is the outcome of the strategy of just bulldozing your way through and pretending that you have a mandate. This is how you wind up in war. This is how you wind up with a military force that is turning its back on you, that is, in fact, turning against you. This is how you wind up with people saying, not just I don't want to vote anymore, but I want to be sure I vote against you. You understand? From people who were formerly, this is how you wind up with a larger group of independents who are dissatisfied with you than ever before. People that considered themselves to be independent thinkers just are not buying what you're selling.
You are not, and this is what I don't understand. And I would love for, to put the rhetoric aside, all the loud talking aside. What is this administration done to make your life better?
Well,
what has this administration done? I mean, you just need to ask yourself that simple question.
Well, you might have a caller here. You might. I'm seeing your light buzz on here.
Okay, I hope it's not the same one.
Well, we don't. Well, you know how we have to do that. We just hit the button and we find out. Hello, caller.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, folks? Have a cup of coffee this morning.
Eley. Okay, then we're off. Go ahead.
I've already had mine. Okay.
I usually have 2 or 3, but I don't understand this idea about election results, man. I mean, if the idea is that people want other people in office, that they feel like will do a better job, then you would support the agenda they have when they get in office, correct?
Right.
So what is the problem when the other people have their own agenda? I mean, because it's the same thing. I mean, the conversation would be opposite if it was Democrats
taxes, and you do this, that, and the other. You have to hook up to their water, and everything that we buy, we really don't have any control over, because if we lose our income, and when you get older, unless you've made a whole bunch of money and you've invested in this, that, and the other, you're pretty much down to whatever you were able to save in your bank and your Social Security, if they choose to give it to you. And so they come up with all these ideas about spending money on this and spending money on that, and they raise your taxes, they raise your water. The homeowners association ups your fees, gasoline, electricity, everything is going up except pay.
Right.
And so the capitalists are doing good. Those who are, I guess, being paid by those capitalists, the ones who they want to pay, they're doing well. But the rest of us, is there a minimum wage now?
It is $7.25 at the federal level. No. Hold on. I gotta check that. I think the federal minimum wage is somewhere around $15, but the general. I'm checking right now. Minimum wage. And here we are. It's $7.25 per hour. A federal minimum wage for covered non-exempt employees is $7.25 per hour. That is.
And so if you work a 40-hour week, that means you've made $280, $300.
Yeah. Not because the non-exempt employees who are not in a supervisory role are generally paid hourly. So you're non-exempt. Yeah.
And so when your water bill comes, your light bill comes, your tax bill comes, you have to buy groceries, pay exorbitant prices for gasoline and other necessities. That's $7.25. Hell, you can even buy a hamburger for $7.25.
Yeah.
And so you have to work over an hour to afford a hamburger. Hamburgers are $10 in most places now.
And go ahead, Michael.
No, you go ahead. I don't want to talk about it. I
just want to. Yeah, it does. People like Elizabeth Warren make this point too, and made it years ago. Back in the 2018, 2019, she was talking about the need to have wage indexing. So because by now, had it been indexed to our wages, even the federal minimum wage would have been somewhere $20 to $25. But one of the things, you're working for $7.25 an hour, you generally, if you're a non-exempt worker, you don't manage other workers, or you don't make high level choices. So you're already at the lower rung of the ladder. These are people who do routine, manual, or technical tasks. They get 1.5 times their normal pay rate for overtime hours, and must track all hours worked. And my understanding is some of these people find ways to work you without paying you overtime. People like the food service and the office clerks, sometimes construction workers, though I would imagine, I hope that would have changed. Retail cashiers, but I would have hoped that for construction workers, that has changed. I got to talk with somebody who's doing that. I got somebody like my man John Brown. I'll have to ask him about that, what that's like out there. But yes, that's what it is.
You know a John Brown?
Yeah. I had to, he told me John Brown. I said, oh, a wise guy, huh? like Mr. Smith. Like you telling me your name is Mr. Smith, right? But no, he's an actual John Brown, and he's a good John Brown too. Yeah.
Is he black?
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh, okay.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Black Brown. I got you.
He wrote that hit song. Oh, how good it is to be brown and black, or black and brown.
Yeah, it really is. But no, living today, I'll put it like this. Maybe for white people, the pay may be keeping up with the economy, but something tells me that minorities, that our pay is not
the source.
They haven't had any.
Hey, hold
When's
on.
the last time they increased the minimum wage? You said 7 something now?
7.25. 7.25.
So that means that in order to pay, if you have a hamburger for lunch, that means you have to work an hour and a quarter to afford your lunch.
Now that's depressing. And now I don't want to eat. Now I don't want to eat. I just lost my appetite. But you've got to call the oil, Mike. You've got to call.
But can you imagine working an 8-hour day and making 7 and a quarter?
Yeah. No.
And so you do 8 times 7 is what, 52?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it 56? 56, 52?
50 something.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have made $50-something. Now, you have a husband and a wife, and they have 3 children. Do you know all they can buy is a hamburger apiece?
Yeah, ain't that wild? Ain't that wild? Yeah.
That's how the workers, the people who are out there sweating, that's how the government says that they can be compensated, while the persons who they are working for can make hundreds of thousands. And as long as I guess they pay the right politicians, they will continue to make their hundreds of thousands, or may move into the millions, while you are still there working for not much of anything based on what things cost now.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about the thing about the homeowners insurance, because I haven't had a claim on my house. And the time I tried to make a claim, all they had to do was turn me down. Because what am I going to do? Go and hire a lawyer and pay him or her more than it would cost to fix my roof?
Yeah, right.
It's a stacked deck, baby.
It is. You got a caller here, Michael.
Well, I hope they can unstack my
Maybe they can. There's a thought.
Thank you, Chairman. The Chairman of the Board, KCOA. Hey, Top Jock, hey, man. Hey, I'm talking my name because every time I can talk to you, man, I can name him. And I'm grateful and appreciative. But look here,
what's up, Cole?
I want to ask you
how you doing,
thing.
man?
All those people on those pictures from Shady Grove, you had a picture on that I saw. I mean, I couldn't pick you out of all the Harrison.
Well, don't forget. First of all, I am a great-great-grandchild of the first Harrises who came to that part of East Texas. Also, so you have, I have a daughter. So she is my contribution to the generation of Harris. But now think of all the others who have come before. And my claim to fame is not being from Shady Grove, Gary. My claim to fame is surviving Shady Grove, Gary. Out there in those cornfields, cotton fields, hay fields, pea farms, and all that. And so when they see me, they say, how in the hell did this Negro get out of there and, and do the thing? So I'm somewhat of a folk hero, but it don't mean jack, because they ain't got no jack.
Yeah, but you're still part of the clan. But, I mean, it really doesn't, but, I mean, history and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it means something. But, hey, The way I see it nowadays, only the strong survive. But look at, I want to ease it down a little bit. John Sam played a concert the other day on about cheating and all that kind of stuff in life, and I was wondering, there's a risky business, and hello.
It is. I just said yes, it is.
As long as you don't get caught, you know. But Buddy H sang a song. It don't hurt anymore. But when you have faced those challenges in life, you know, it just don't hurt no more. For the way I see the way the world is going today, and be that as it may, yeah, you know. So,
but you have to remember that people who cheat do it for various reasons. And I'm not going to lie. I have not always been the nicest guy. And, I wanted to be a nice guy. But when someone that you love constantly rejects you, quite often, the devil is in you. You got the devil in you, too. You will seek comfort from somewhere else. You're paying the price, but not getting the product. I guess
Okay.
And so if you're not careful, you can end up being a bad person. You don't want to do it, but then you're like Luther Ingram saying, "If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right because I can't sleep at night. I got this person, you know, who's supposed to love me and all that, and all I get is I'm tired, I'm sick, leave me alone." You know, we are human.
Yeah. But
I'm not trying to justify, I'm just explaining that stuff happens, and sometimes it is not necessarily your fault. When people get rejected over and over again, you know, that's why you have race riots and prison riots and stuff. You just get treated badly. Yeah, and you marry a man who don't ever come home, and when he comes home, he smells like another woman or something like that. Pretty soon, even a good woman may turn to another man who appreciates her. And I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just trying to explain to you that we are human beings. And when we love and we're hurt, we sometimes do hurtful things to ourselves and to others. So the best way is to marry somebody who truly loves you, who shares your values, and even though you may not be able to give them everything that they want, they continue to love you. And that's what I tell my wife all the time. Thank God I finally have somebody who loves me.
It makes sense. I don't believe that. I mean, bad, good, and different. I just don't see where the day and time we live there is a perfect relationship that causes, makes you believe that it's a great thing in relationships. I mean, this is the time that I'm living in, see it, all this stuff that is going on with marriages and, you know, things that has been transpired through certain different relationships that I know of, okay?
But if a person marries you for what they think they can get out of you, then you're never going to have anything. Because all that person is looking for is for what they can get.
Yes, I understand that. Right, yes.
And they're not interested in you, and so sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with that. And you can either decide to stay with somebody who doesn't love you but who wants to use you, or you can suck it up and say, well, fool me once. You know, I can deal with that. Fool me twice, then it ain't going to be nice. I got to go. It may cost you, but what is the price of your soul? Do you stay with somebody because they tricked you and acted like they love you and all they want to do is misuse you and abuse you? Or do you say, hell no, you got to go, or I'm going?
But hey, I want to go because I know Virginia way to come on because, you know, you think, you know, because we some preachers say we're going to go to hell because we bastard child. So I want to ask you because, I mean, as long as he don't run into a sheer heart and kill out of the lane, what was his name, Byron Gillen. Yeah, Byron Gillen. Byron Gillen. Yeah. Byron, okay. And out of the Langley, the 4 police officers, you don't know if you're going to run into something like that on the streets nowadays. And, like I said, I mean, I'm really. I mean, I just don't understand the way things are still. But I thank God for the body cameras. These body cameras help some if they do it the right way. You know, some people back in the day they didn't have some body cameras who have gotten hurt and killed. You know, without them, officers have body cameras. So it helps one point in life, but you don't never know when you'll get caught. For those kind of police officers out here nowadays, you know. And it's the thing that you run into. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, well, look at the war that we're in now. And I don't know how many American soldiers have been killed in this thing with Iran that we have going on. But note that no children that I know of any politician or any person of wealth or whatever in this country has been deployed over there or has been wounded or killed over there. We, the poor people, the have-nots, the brown people, the yellow people, the poor white, we are all the ones who give our lives. Now, they'll have generals and captains and colonels and stuff over there. Some of them may perish. They go out of, you know, their macho ego or whatever. But most of us don't want to go to the military. No, I didn't want to go.
Yeah. Well, I can respect that because I know I come up with a lot of people I had friends that they became draft dodgers. They say I'd rather go to penitentiary or whatever rather than go to the Vietnam War back in the day, like Paris Ely or Profit for it, you know. But I mean, but if you consider draft dodgers, or they'll get you some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that was
but if they don't draft you. I ain't volunteering for Jack, okay?
They ain't gonna volunteer, okay? No.
You got other callers here.
Hey, okay, you know, but look, I want to give you a hug for me. Y'all, you have a great weekend, Jack, and make sure you stay hydrated, okay? Don't go out in that heat, man. It's hot.
Please, you're right. And now this should the rest of you.
I was raised in a cotton field, in a corn field. I may be old, but I've been out there. So, yeah, I know how to protect myself.
Hello, caller. You're on with the Top Job.
Yeah.
Hello. How y'all doing?
I'm okay. You're okay.
Hey, Caddo Parish. Caddo Parish. Manola.
Yeah, right across the border from Louisiana.
You know exactly where I'm at. But man, look at this. All I can tell you is that we were talking last time about those roads. Man, they got some of these roads out here so smooth. They got some rocky as all get out. They got some smooth, so it's just like riding on a cloud sometimes. But we try to walk. We try to ride the clouds. But anyway, man, it was something I was just thinking about. I know last time we talked, you guys had a chance to holler about a couple of things. And I heard you say something earlier about, you know, all these taxes they got on property. Well, man, look here. This is going to